Well, with 3 games left in our first season up in the Free Liga, we are still 6 points behind Erzgebirge, so that does mean now it is must-win territory for us. Can we sneak into that promotion playoff spot, or can we only secure 4th and make sure that we do have some cup football to look forward to in the 3rd season of the save? Hello everyone and welcome to episode 18 of the Leipzig Loko with Lokomotive Leipzig here on Sean Does FM. I hope you are doing well, and coming up today we do wrap up the 2nd season of the save. Hopefully we can find a way to overcome Erzgebirge in that 3rd spot, but more realistically we're probably just looking to hold on to 4th spot to make sure. I'm pretty sure that we can take part in the DFB Pokal for next season. Also, of course, we will have the end of season review, so if you're looking forward to that in today's episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and have been enjoying the series here on the channel, also consider hitting that subscribe button and turning that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. But we have played 2 games off the back of yesterday's episode. In that one, we did take on both Erzgebirge and RWS, and the key result in that one was a 4-1 loss, and since then we have been playing catch-up. If you missed that episode, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner. I did think off the back of that episode we would lose a game and win 1 game, but the games in which those results did happen were the complete opposite of what I was expecting. First up, we took on SV Elversberg off the back of that win. Second up yesterday over RWS, and unfortunately suffered a 2-1 defeat. We got back level just before half-time through Julian Weigel, but unfortunately conceded 1 20 minutes into the second half. So a 2-1 loss, and that did mean we did fall 6 points behind Erzgebirge, as is the case still going into today's episode, because somehow, off the back of that, we actually beat the champions these days in this season of the Free Liga in Dynamo Dresden 2-0. So we got the results that I was expecting, but as I said, not in the fixtures I was expecting them to come from. This was a very good performance, an early goal to Teo Ogbidi, and also one through Eagle Zeta with a half hour to go. So hopefully that result gives us some good momentum going in to these last 3 games of the season against teams, at least the first 2 games, we should be beating, as both those teams are down around the relegation zone. That last one, though, against Victoria Cologne, might just be a little bit tougher, but as you saw earlier, that means we are 6 points behind Erzgebirge, so obviously, again, I need to really pick up points in all these games remaining and hope that they do start to slip up. They have been in really good form off the back of that result they did pick up against us in yesterday's episode, and also we are 6 points clear currently of Osnabrück. 4th spot, I'm pretty sure, as I said, does guarantee some cup football for next season, which would be very nice and would just add a little bit of difference to the 2nd season of life for us in the Free Liga if cup football was added alongside the fixtures that we have been playing over the course of this past season. But first up today, we take on the team who currently are just inside of that relegation zone in Wehen Wiesbaden. Could be a bit trickier than it does look though, because this game is away from home, and in this most recent stretch our away form has actually been a little bit worse than our home form, but these guys were expected to do a lot better than they have been at the start of the season and come into this one in a pretty rotten run of form, including a loss to Ingolstadt and a draw against Plussen Munster. So hopefully we can continue that run of form and maybe keep ourselves in the hunt to try and steal that 3rd spot away from Erzgebirge in these last couple of match days. Going into this one, a quick injury update, and it's a good one. Everyone is fit and available, albeit some of the players who are just coming back from injuries, in the likes of Ricardo Grimm and in particular Mike Owosu, not recommended for a full game just yet, but thankfully no more injuries. The likes of Linus Zimmer have made their way back as well, so everyone's available, albeit to varying degrees, in these games during today's episode. Hopefully by the time we get to that final one, if there's still something riding on it, hopefully our full strength squad is available and we can finish the season off with a bang, much like we did at the start of the season. But the second part of the season, we have started to slip up just a little bit. Last time we took on this team, it was a draw. Hopefully we can pick up 3 points against Wehen Wiesbaden and keep ourselves in the hunt for that promotion playoff. And here are the team sheets for this first game of today's episode. There are the home team, obviously struggling, as you did see before. These guys are going with a 4-2-3-1. Hopefully we can pick up a win in this one. There you can see us mixing our form quite a bit. The only change to our regular first choice 11 is that Ogbidi is over Owosu, coming back from that injury, not quite recommended for a full game, but Linus Zimmer does start for us at left back, so hopefully that will help us over the course of this run home. We can kick things off with 3 points here against the team in the relegation zone. And it's taken a long time for the first highlight in this game. It is a corner to Wehan Wiesbaden. We do deal with that somewhat. They do actually get a shot off there from a tight angle, but thankfully Ricardo Grimm does deal with that danger. But they are still on the attack here, but thankfully Tilgen will eventually clear this one, albeit not too well. They are still on the attack there, and in fact a good block there from Ricardo Grimm might have meant we could do something there on the counter-attack, but unfortunately he loses possession. That's the end of that highlight, but another one starts only 1 minute later. Ziani on the ball, but gets absolutely sandwiched there in between 3 of the opposition players, and yet again they get a chance here. Ball over the top, they pick out Faluk on that left-hand side, plays that one into the mixer for Ivan Plishin, and he puts that one away. And that is not the start that we were after, even though it has come at the 35-minute mark. We eventually got some highlights in this game, and it looks like we are on the back foot, mixing our form wildly at the moment. Coming into this, of course, off the back of that win against the champions. A poor start here. We go 1-0 down, just shy of half-time. And that is half-time in this first game of today's episode, and we have been absolutely awful in that first half. As you can see, the opposition well and truly on top of us. We've only got 1 shot off in that entire first half, and considering the position of both teams on the table, that isn't good enough. We'll take off Ogbidi on that yellow card for Mike Owosu, also Abdullamane on a 6.4. Julian Weigel can come on for him. He's actually been playing lately as an advanced playmaker, but I think we might just leave things as usual with a central midfielder on attack paired up in that midfield. Also adjust some opposition instructions, but that first half, very poor. So we're going to need to tell the guys they need to improve quite a bit in the second half, but thankfully we are only 1 goal down, but it is must-win time late in the season. And around 5 minutes into the second half, the first highlight here is a free kick to Wehan Wiesbaden. Thankfully we do win that one in the air, and Tilgen might get a chance here to get us going on the counter-attack, but unfortunately run straight into an opponent, and they get the ball back here and find some space down this right-hand side. Gunther will play one into the mix. A good chance there for that striker to grab a double. Not too sure that what Sadogan was doing off the back of that one coming off the post, but thankfully still only down by 1-0, but really need to get on the front foot soon in this game. So far we have not been good, although Owosu now plays a nice ball into the mix. Ziani was onside, but unfortunately that shot goes into the path of the goalkeeper, and now the ball is put forward down the other end, so maybe this highlight is going to continue. Gunther plays that one forward to Floesi, just inside the box, takes his time, plays that one back for Gunther, and yet again Ivan gets up in the air. Maybe need to start trying to stop crosses, because they are killing us in this game, and 2-0 just after the start of the second half, and we are well and truly second best so far in this game. We had a good chance down the other end there through Ziani, and straight off the back of that is a ball floated there towards the far post, and Ivan Plitchin puts that one in the back of the net, and now we are in trouble, 2-0 behind. And with a half hour left to go in this game, we are going to make our last few substitutions off the back of going 2-0 down. Things not going to plan today, so Eric Vufart can come on for Linus Zimmer. You'll notice these days at left wing back we are playing an inverted wing back. It did suit Vufart while Zimmer was out, and our performances did actually improve a little bit, albeit that has not been the case today. Also, we'll bring Don Brober on for Tilgen out left, as well as Zizek up front. Also go positive and hopefully get a goal back at least to give us a hope of grabbing a point out of this one. And not too long off the back of making those last few substitutions, it is now Wehan Wiesbaden yet again on the ball. They have well and truly been the better team so far in this game, but thankfully Lucas Search does win that one in the air, and we might have numbers here on them going forward. Leon Heinke plays one over there to Don Brober, sits that one up nicely, and that's a really good finish off of the bench from Tobias Domblower, and hopefully we can start to mount a comeback now with 20 minutes left, having just gone positive. As you can see by that match momentum, we have definitely been on the back foot for most of this game, but that was a nice ball there from Heinke, and that is a really good finish that from Don Blower, and hopefully that gets us back in this game 2-1 with 20 minutes left, albeit right off the back of that there is a highlight from the restart. Hopefully we can grab a quick fire double and really get ourselves right back in this game, but unfortunately they find some space there down that right-hand side and do manage to keep the ball for now. We try and put a bit of pressure on them through our attacking players, but at the moment can't win that ball back yet again. They get in behind our defence far too easily. It's a hat-trick for Ivan, and we absolutely bottle it a little bit right off the back of grabbing a goal back, and just like that, may as well not have bothered. 3-1, we will berate the boys because that is not good timing right off the back of scoring. We concede one, and now it's going to be very tough for us to try and make that promotion play off. And just into the last 5 minutes of this game, obviously we have gone on to attacking, and now it's time for us to really try and go a bit wider and just try and up the tempo as well a little bit if we can. But to be fair, already playing on a slightly higher tempo will also be a bit more expressive and not run at the defence, just to see if that will help us out. But to be fair, we have not been good enough today. Really frustrating, having just beaten Dynamo Dresden prior to this one, and that result probably means we can't now finish third on the table, so no chance for us to get promoted up to the 2 Bundesliga for this season. That's a really poor performance, as I said, especially off the back of a 2-0 win over Dynamo Dresden, and definitely not finishing third because Erzgebirge picked up a 6-2 win. We are 9 points behind with 2 games left. Thankfully, Osnabrück are still at 6 points behind us, albeit they do still have a game in hand, so they could close the gap. So now, the real battle for us is to try and finish 4th and grab a spot in the DFB Pokal for next season. So a bad result in that first game of today's episode, and now it's time for us to play the final game of the season, because not much has changed off the back of the second to last game that we did play against the team on bottom of the table in Kassel. Thankfully at home, we did pick up a 3-1 win, as you would expect. Actually went positive going into the start of this game, and it did seem to work, so I think we're going to do that away from home against Victoria Cologne in this season ender, but thankfully got an early penalty through Ziani. Ricardo Grimm put us 2-0 up early in the second half off the back of the opposition getting a red card late in the first half for, I believe it was an elbow to the head or something like that. It was a bit interesting in the match engine, but they did grab a goal back with 15 minutes left to make it a bit nervous at 2-1, but thankfully Ziani put it to bed in injury time, so that was a good win. Continue to mix our form of late, albeit it is wins at home and losses away, so a little bit more understandable, but still a bit frustrating. And what that means for the Free Liga table, we are now only 3 points clear of Osnabrück. They won that game in hand as well as the game on that second to last match day. Thankfully though, our goal differential is a bit better than theirs, so even if we do lose on this last match day and they win, it would need to be a pretty impressive win for them and a pretty awful one for us for them to go above us because of that goal differential. But hopefully we can pick up a point here at Victoria Cologne, and that will secure us 4th spot in the Free Liga. And as I said, pretty sure that gives us some cup football for next season here at Lokomotive Leipzig, despite the fact we will still be in the Free Liga. But coming up in this final game of the season, we are taking on Victoria Cologne. From memory, these guys did beat us earlier in the season in a match on camera that we did have at home, so this could actually be a bit trickier. They are doing a bit better as well than the media did predict, albeit their form in the last 3 matches has not been great. Losses in 2 of them, as well as a draw against Ingolstadt. But as you've seen, our away form of late has not been great, so hopefully starting on a positive mentality might change that, and we can do enough to secure 4th spot on the table. We'll come back shortly and hopefully get the job done away from home at Victoria Cologne. And here are the team sheets for this final match of the season away from home. There are Victoria Cologne. Again, we're taking on a team here who are going with a 4-2-3-1. Obviously, with this one being away, it could be tricky. We are exactly the same as we were going into that first game of today's episode. Hopefully, perform like we did in that off-camera game, and we can hold on to 4th spot in the Free Liga. And yet again, we come back 10 minutes shy of half-time for the first highlight in this game. Thankfully, this time it looks like it might be in our favour, albeit free kick is dealt with there by Victoria Cologne in the red, and they do try and get something going here on the counter-attack, but so far 2 shots to 1 in their favour, but none have been on target, and that's poor defensively. Martinovic there with a decent effort, but thankfully just goes wide, and thankfully still 0-0 coming up to half-time. And that was it for the first half in this last match of the season. Obviously not much did happen. Victoria Cologne did actually get a few shots off on target late in that first half, and yet again so far we really haven't done too much ourselves, despite the fact we are on a positive mentality. So we'll tell the guys need to hit the target a bit more, but to be fair, we are not doing that badly in terms of player rating, so we'll keep them out there for the start of the second half, and at the very least, pick up a point to hold on to fourth. And 10 minutes into the second half, the first highlight here is a corner in our favour, albeit yet again it is dealt with there by Victoria Cologne, but good tracking back there from Erzgebirge, and we do get the ball back and hopefully can finally do something in today's episode, albeit we did score a goal in that previous game that we did show you guys, but it was a bit frustrating conceding right off the back of that. But Erzgebirge yet again in some space. Nice ball there for Jamal Ziani. Will pick up his 12th goal of the season, finding some form very late on, which is a little bit frustrating, but tucks that one away, and that is exactly what we wanted to start off the second half off the back of a poor first one, and we go 1-0 up here with 35 minutes left. It's a really nice ball that from Erzgebirge, who had a big hand in that goal. Ziani tucks it away to put us 1-0 up. And with 20 minutes left in this one, still 1-0 up off the back of that lone highlight in this half, and a few players down to red hearts. Those guys can come off. It does mean that Dombrowa will come on at left wing, Piplica in the DM role for Heinke, and also Nico Replay for Lucas Search at centre back. And hopefully we can hold on here for all 3 points. And only 5 minutes off the back of those previous substitutions, 2 more of our players are now down to red hearts. We're going to use our last subs here. Both of them are in central midfield, so it does mean some interesting stuff will happen here. But Julian Weigl can come on for Abdullah Mane, and also we'll bring on Vufart for Grim. That means that Ernesto can move forward and Vufart can go to his natural right back spot. That's all our subs used. Still 1-0 up with 15 minutes left. And only a few minutes off the back of those last substitutions, there is another highlight starting here. Hopefully we hold on to win, because as you can see, Osnabrück 3-0 ahead, which could make things very interesting. Long range effort there from Martinovic. Went quite close with that first highlight in the first half. Thankfully yet again just off target, but he's looking quite dangerous so far. Now Erzgebirge, interesting ball out there, nearly went into the path of one of the opposition players, but thankfully we do keep it here down this right hand side. Teo Ogbidi tries to play a ball forward there for Ernesto, but can't quite link up. Hopefully we can win this one. We don't, and good chance here for Victoria Cologne on the counter attack. They try and put a ball there into the mixer. Thankfully Zimmer, good block there, and we might do something here on the counter-attack. Dombrowa plays that one in to Julian Weigl. Nice one over there for Jamal Ziani, and he will tuck that one away pretty much down the centre of the goal. He will pick up his second double in a row, finding some late season form, as I said, and hopefully that is the goal to make sure we do finish fourth on the table. Some good counter-attacking play off the back of a few chances there for Victoria Cologne. Nice ball over the top there, and Ziani just puts that one to the left of the goalkeeper, and 2-0 with only 10 minutes left. Surely now we can pick up all 3 points and hold on to fourth spot. And very shortly off the back of that second goal, another highlight has started here. Victoria Cologne try and play their way out from the back, off the back of a throw. Now Ziani tries to play that one into the mixer. We do get it back there though through Dombrowa. Now Piplica is trying to take on a few players there. Actually does quite well to keep that ball, even though we are going to have to go backwards, and we go all the way back to Eaglezeta at centre back. Now Vufart down the right will pick out Piplica. Again, does pretty well there off the back of scooping that one up. Now Eaglezeta all the way back to Erzgebirge. It's a poor pass though. Martinovic will get a good chance here, but thankfully Replay with a really big tackle. And off the back of that, we might get a chance here on the counter. Ogbidi gets in behind his man. Down this right-hand side, floats that one in for Jamal Ziani on the counter-attack. We'll head that one home for a hat-trick. And what a way this is to end the season. If only we'd gone positive a bit sooner. To be fair, should have known that, having played like that all throughout the Regional League season last year. Maybe for next season, need to be positive for the whole of it. But that is a very good finish there from Ziani. A very good counter-attacking goal off the back of an iffy pass by Erzgebirge down the other end. And we go 3-0 up late in this one. And we're entering injury time in this final game of the season. Thankfully, it's been a pretty good performance, especially in the second half. Overall, quite an even game, but we were a lot more efficient in front of goal. And thanks to Jamal Ziani with a hat-trick, we pick up a 3-0 win. And to be fair, probably one of our better performances of the season based on player ratings. And no matter what happened in that Osnabrück game, it does mean we are going to hold on for fourth spot in the league. And I'm pretty sure, as I said earlier, that should mean we get some cup football in the third season of the save after finishing 4th in the Free Liga. And back in the inbox off the back of a few clicks since we did pick up that 3-0 win on the final day of the season. Quite good work there from Ziani in his 250th appearance. He picks up a hat-trick to make him the leading goal scorer for the club in history, according to Football Manager. Just quite a cool day there for our current first choice striker. But the main reason we are coming back before the end of season review, we have the budgets for next season. Now, the club is not in a good financial way, so thankfully our wage budget has been increased. It did look like it would actually be reduced going into next season according to the finance screen, but thankfully the wage budget will be £25,000 a week, no transfer budget, and what that means is we are no longer over the wage budget, we are bang level with it. So obviously that means if we're going to try and sign some new players, we probably need to sell some, albeit it could also mean maybe just lowering some incentives for competitions for next season to try and build up a transfer budget as well. Usually something I don't like to do, but might be something we need to with the situation here currently at Lokomotive Leipzig. But thankfully, we are no longer over the wage budget, but it does mean probably not much room to do much transfer business going into our third season of the save. And going forward a little bit off the back of getting that budget for next season, we do start to make our way into the end of season review for 2023-24 here at Lokomotive Leipzig. Obviously, financial situation didn't make too many new signings going into this season, but the signing of the season did go to Mike Owosu. Probably fair enough. Didn't actually make the most appearances of our new signings, but he did start the most games and did grab 1 goal and 9 assists with a 7.0 average rating. Also signed Nico Reblay. Truth be told, a little bit disappointing was the former Weham Wiesbaden man. We did drop him for most of the second part of the season in favour of Linus Zimmer at left back. Of course, that wasn't until Zimmer did get injured for a little while, and also did sign Kylian Zaruba to add some depth at centre back, and he didn't get a lot of game time, only 4 appearances from the bench for a 6.7 average rating, and we made no transfers out for any money or no loans out, so that keeps the screen nice and quick. Going forward to the season's results, obviously only in the one competition, we did finish 4th, 3 points clear of Osnabrück and 7 points in the end behind Erzgebirge. So to be fair, those guys finished the season off very strongly, nearly gained automatic promotion up to the 2 Bundesliga, but as you can see, they will also be going up. They did win their promotion playoff over 2 legs thanks to the away goals rule, so they just snuck through, but all those teams who finished in the top 3 spots are going up the division next season. Hopefully that means we might be able to finish in one of those promotion spots next season, despite the fact we will be struggling just a little bit with our wage budget, I think. It is fair to say, but in terms of our actual form from this past season, we got off to a really good start, winning most of our early season games. Took us a fair while to lose until late September, when dropping points to Osnabrück and to Wörl. Decent form from there until we did lose, as you would expect, to the league leaders in Dynamo Dresden, and then pretty decent, but once we got back from the winter break, we were a lot more patchy with our form and drew a lot more games against teams that we shouldn't have been doing. Some games there that it felt like we were good enough to win, but could not get the job done, and unfortunately lost to the likes of Magdeburg and Erzgebirge, which did mean those teams could put a bit of a gap on us in that race for promotion. So unfortunately for us, another season in the Free Liga, but still, considering we were expected to be in a relegation battle this season, that is a very, very good season, finishing up with 69 points. Going forward to the moments to remember, the biggest win was on the opening match day, 4-0 over Ingolstadt away from home. The match to remember, 2-0 away at Duisburg in October. To be fair, that one didn't seem too memorable because we did play against 10 men for most of that game, but the goal of the season, pretty sure this one is a well-justified winner. It was Osman Tilgen opening the scoring in a 3-1 win at Plussen Munster. And it came from us trying to do something on the counter-attack. Tilgen did find Ziani, gets the ball back here just outside the box and curves that one very, very nicely into the top right corner. I think that's a fair enough goal of the season considering the ones that we did score over the course of this season. So those were the moments to remember. The finances, pretty good, obviously moving up from the Regional Liga to the Free Liga and turning professional. All this stuff did go up considerably. Unfortunately, our reputation is still at 2 stars, and shirt sales of Tilgen did top that, followed by Owosu, somehow Zizek, as well as Abdullah Mane and Ziani off the back of that good end of season that he did have, scoring 5 goals in those last 2 games. The best 11 from this past season does pretty much select itself. Isadogan in goal, Ernesto as well as Reblay as the wingback. So Reblay did just perform a little bit better there according to the game than Linus Simmer. We've got Eagles-Eder and Search at centre back, Heinke, Grimm and Abdullamane in the midfield, and Owosua, Tilgan and Ziani up front. So most of the players there who we did finish the season with as our first choice players did end up in that best 11, apart from, of course, Reblay, who we did drop for Linus Simmer once he did come back from injury. The accolades, Osman Tilgan does pick up most of these. He picks up the fans player of the season as well as the young player of the season. Of course, also that goal of the season, as you saw earlier. Top goal scorer was Ziani with 14. That late season spurt that he got on did make sure that he picked that one up. Osman Tilgan with 13 assists was the most. Most player of the matches did go to Ziani with 5. Now, Tilgan did have the highest average rating with 7.1. Competition awards, that is going to bring up the one that Ziani did win last season, so don't need to worry about that. And a couple of interesting things there over on the record breaker side. Most clean sheets by a player in a season, Isadogan with 17. So he actually had a pretty decent season, considering that was an area that we were looking to improve come the start of this season. Also, as mentioned earlier, in that 250th appearances, last one of the season, Jamal Ziani now has the most league goals by a player for the club at 115, and also during the course of the season, a player from our youth intake last year in Danny Hermel did become the youngest player here at Lokomotive Leipzig. Our early season form did set us up for a much better season than what the media were expecting, and going forward to the dynamic manager timeline, we'll get through the bit that we did see come the end of last season, and let's have a look and see what did come up from this past year. Obviously, we did sign a few players and also some new assistant managers and the likes come the start of this season, so some pretty uninspiring stuff there. And also a little article there about a change in ownership that was just a change in chairpersons. Overall, not much added to there on the dynamic manager timeline, bit of a waste of time, and that will pretty much do it for the end of season review. Also, of course, a few players inducted to the overall best 11, albeit all of them make their way onto the bench. No changes in the starting 11, but the 3 players now on the bench, Mike Owosu, somehow Nico Reblay, as well as Mark Lamptey. But I think that will do it for the second season here of the Leipzig Loko. Unfortunately, did not get the chance to get promoted up to the 2 Bundesliga, but as I said, I'm pretty sure finishing 4th does mean we will be in the DFB Pokal next season, so that will add a little bit more to life here in the Free Liga. And hopefully, despite the fact we won't really be able to do too much in terms of adding players to the squad because of no extra wage budget at the moment, we hopefully can find ourselves in a similar position on the table and can maybe go up to the 2 Bundesliga come the end of the 3rd season of this save. But if you did enjoy this season and this episode of the Leipzig Loko, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also consider hitting that subscribe button and turning that notification bell on as well. We'll come back tomorrow with probably a little bit of a transfer special if we do anything, but otherwise we'll start our second season of life here in the Free Liga. But obviously with that wage budget situation, might not be too many new faces, so I dare say there will be some sort of gameplay on the field coming up in tomorrow's episode, and hopefully can get off to a similar start to what we did this season, but hold it for a little bit longer this time to try and get promoted. So until tomorrow, for maybe some transfers and probably the start of season 3 here at Lokomotive Leipzig. Thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.
Thought I could do this, life through the sadness. Don't know how I ended up so lost. Sink through the deep end, hurt and